Bonjour, hello. My name is Jasmine Jaguar. And this is Selenite Wands cleansing your screen and cleansing your auric field in your life. This is the number one rule for influencing. The number one rule for influencing and speaking on camera, which I am still working on because of my CPTSD, is being confident in your auric field being cleansed and you being balanced and you not letting what other people say about you matter. Sometimes it can get to you because we're all human and we have feelings, but each influencer and each performer, internet performer, star, whatever you are, each has a niche. So whatever niche you're in, you're gonna find your people. And if you find yourself where you're just like, I don't like this space anymore, it's time to move to a different niche. So basically, my first niche was cannabis. I don't know if I can say that in here, but plant medicine. Um, and the reason that I got even into that was one, I was just posting on Instagram. It was something I like to do. And I was younger, just graduated college, and I was getting off of pills, and I was reviewing all these cannabis brands on my Instagram. The algorithm was way different back then. It was like 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I'm like reviewing all these brands because I'm in such pain, like literally getting paralyzed, semi paralyzed from how much PTSD and how much generational trauma I had. So I started off by like taking like syrups that had CBN, not so that I could just relax and not feel like somebody was trying to attack me. So that was the biggest thing for me. And then also doing yoga at the same time. That was how I got into the industry, was literally getting off of pills and being a CPTSD survivor, which is a lot. So yeah, I think everybody gets into an industry differently. It could be a hobby, it could be something that's medicine, it could be something that's lifestyle. So pick whatever niche is true to you. And if you don't know, start off with lifestyle. I'm starting off with lifestyle again as an online creator, but I'm changing the way I do things now. Um, just based off of what I want to do and being more of an editor is what I like to do. But I definitely recommend influencing to start with. And then that way, you kind of get your feet on the ground and also see what's going on. And it can also be great money for you, especially if you want to stay focused. My number one rule for being an influencer or digital creator is getting up and doing it. Today, I did not feel like getting up and doing it. I felt so sad today, honestly. I cried before this, but it reminded me I always get up and do it, regardless. Like, if you don't want to do your hair, if you don't want to straighten your hair, put it up like this. Put some gel, put some flyaways back, get up and do it. Do whatever you can to just get up and do it. It's good to rest. It's good to sleep in. Sleep in if you feel like you need to take more time to create things, because you are creating things. You are creating things from ideas from other people or yourself. And so it takes a lot of energy to create these things and be an influencer. And it's actually a very important job. People make fun of it because of the way we put ourselves in situations sometimes, but it's actually a very important role and influential, especially in today's society. And with all of the rules and regulations that we have already been battling that, but we as influencers are reforming the entire system and the way things are working. And it's awesome because I feel like we have kind of, especially with my family going through the boarding schools, and a lot of other natives, like, we in this country were colonized and we were told that we need to be perfect in order to be accepted. And that simply isn't true. It might be true for a select few, but we can change things so it's not that way. And I know that maybe some of our traumas make us that way sometimes. Sometimes I turn slightly robotic because of how I was raised. But it's nice to just be chill and realize that not every day is going to be perfect, and that's the way it is, and not everybody's going to like you, and people are going to say mean things to you, and you just have to take it with a grain of salt. Take things that people say and listen to them, but don't take them and dwell on them, because you're not going to create more content. And if you want to be a content creator, you need to keep going. And you need to speak up for what's right and what you believe in and the content that you're producing. In order to be a very successful content creator, influencer, you need to be posting organized posts. There's several ways of doing this, actually. So many influencers get jobs based off of posting very strategic posts. So these are planned ahead posts, and these are also posts where you're not really saying anything political, you're not saying anything controversial. That's how you're going to get jobs. And if you keep posting daily and work with the algorithm with the site that you're on, which it changes all of the time. I know TikTok's changing again, I know Instagram's changing again. They change all of the time. I recommend doing a few accounts at once and mainly focusing on one and then getting streams of content from that one and posting to other platforms. But if you wanted to make a lot of money, you would post strategic posts where everything is very clean. There's no flyaways. You're not doing what I'm doing. You're very professional. And this is almost colonized to a sense, which actually that's a flaw in the system. So that's where you can decide what type of influencer, what kind of content creator that you want to be. Do you want to be a profitable one? Or do you want to be a well-liked one? Or do you want to be somebody that changes people's lives and saves the earth? The choice is up to you. The choice is up to you as to what brands you're promoting and what they do for other people. And also being somebody that encourages brands to do new things, and also taking the hit if they don't agree with you or see eye to eye or don't like something that you're posting. Like, say I speak up for my Native people and our genocide. Not everybody will like that because it's a controversial topic, which it shouldn't be, but it is. So that's something that you have to think about when you're being an influencer or a content creator. Those videos can still get you lots of likes and views, which is good because it creates more attention on that topic, that it's important. But you should never be an activist that's like a performance activist. I think that's what it's called. Because then you're just like using people. But it's good to speak on those things and not ignore them. That's my personal thoughts. Other people will say different. People that make more money that say different. They choose to work with the bigger brands and ignore what's going on. You could also do that and also take that money and put it back into things that need help. So there's a lot of ways of being a content creator or influencer. It's all up to you and like your belief system. But I think it's very important to figure out your niche, even if you don't know what you're doing right away, the way you want to do things, and which platform you're going to post on. That's very important. Next, I want to talk about how I really got the ball rolling at the beginning of my career as an influencer in the plant industry. Basically, people messaged me to do collabs, and I started off by doing unpaid collabs for like a year or two. And I still did them later on, when I was making money, just to keep up with what I was doing. Because if I liked the product enough, I saw it as being profitable because it was complementary medicine for me. Later in my career, I got bigger jobs. I turned down many of those big jobs because I knew that I just saw a spider. I knew that if I did those big jobs, it would put the industry into something that I didn't want it to be. And being an influencer and being a creator, you're somebody that is that marketing person that is directing the industry. So, say if you don't want people to buy Sprite, don't be promoting it. and I can say I also might have messed up a few times. So I take full responsibility for that. But it's good to have a clear conscience, one, that you're not going to take those brands that might be doing things they shouldn't be doing, and you're holding people accountable. And maybe you can work with those brands in the future. Maybe if you guys can see eye to eye in the future, then you guys can work with each other. The most important thing, I think, especially nowadays, my hair is drying funny. No, this is why you do your hair, or at least like put it in like those curlers or braids or something. But whatever. I also think that you should drink hot tea and do lots of things before you're speaking so you can speak very clearly, and keep recording until you get the right shot, because if not, that company probably won't work with you again. Lesson learned. What was I gonna say? So the next thing I would say is being professional and then taking care of your community. So as an influencer, I'm gonna start with taking care of your community. You have the responsibility to, even if you're an introvert, to be taking care of your community. You are gaining these followers. You want to have followers. You want to have a community that you are talking with, because if not, nobody's going to share your stuff and nobody's going to comment under your stuff unless you're paying to do so, which in the end, paying for followers, everybody finds out and everybody talks about it. And it might get you some brand deals, but I just don't see it as being profitable in the future if you're constantly buying. I would recommend promoting yourself and purchasing things for your feed if you want to. I don't really do that. But if you wanted to just like get a jump start and really get going on it, I would recommend doing that, but not buying followers, because it adds up and you can see everything that's going on. That's the first thing sometimes that companies will look at if you have organic followers, and if they see a bunch of spam accounts, they won't want to work with you unless they just don't see what's going on, which is fine. Like, that's how people get brand deals, and I'm cool with that. However you want to get it, I understand. But I just don't do that. And being nice to your community of people that are supporting you is also a super big thing, because those are your friends, and like those are the people that are supporting you. And if you, as somebody that's gonna be influencing for the community of what they should be buying and what they should be doing with their money, you should be somebody that those people can kind of go to. Not like 100%. Like, you shouldn't have to answer every single message or every single request. That's like too much and too draining. Maybe at the beginning just to be nice, but don't get on a too personal level with people if you're not going to actually be their friend. That's another thing, is like, you can't be everybody's friend. If you plan on getting a lot of followers, you're not going to be able to be everybody's friend. You can't hold enough emotional space for them. But if you're going to get on live, be nice to people that are following you. If they're going to send you a comment on there, that's like supporting you. Be nice to them and like answer them, and try to answer them when you can, because those are the people that are kind of having your back right now. Those are kind of like your coworkers. And being friends with other influencers and creators that are in your same niche too is a good thing. Not having all of them, not just having just influencers on your page, is not a good thing, because you end up comparing yourself to every single one of them. And also it's just too much. Like, having everybody that does the exact same thing as you is not a good following and not a good thing to be following. Like, you should follow many different kinds of things. That way your audience and your community has a variety of people. Next topic I want to talk about, which is extremely funny for me, and I think it has to do with being severely colonized and also going to a university, and that is being business professional. This is a job, and even though we are slowly changing it, a lot of the people with the money that are giving you jobs are still colonized, and that's just the way things are. And honestly, sometimes being business professional is not a bad thing. So, like, some colonization tools aren't terrible. Most of them are, but sending emails and being professional and being clear about what the agreement about what you're going to do for a company or a person is very good, and having clear communication skills and responding on time. That's funny. Responding on time and being there 15 minutes early for a job. It also goes both ways too, which is another thing that a lot of people I don't think see. And you can prevent yourself from wasting time. But this also, standing in your ground, you're probably going to have to at least get a side job just to keep yourself going, because standing your ground can offend people. But if somebody isn't giving you like that same respect back as a client and artist, you don't have to work with that person. Like, you can give them, I usually like to give them 3 tries, and then once they keep using my energy and not really giving me anything for it or disrespecting me at the same time, that's when I remove them, and then I move on with the next people that I want to work with, because people that you're working with, you should like working with, and you should like promoting the product, and you should like those people, because that makes your content authentic. And creating authentic is much harder than creating fake content, but if you continuously do it, I think it'll get easier as time goes on. And especially with the way things in our world are headed, people are tired of the fake, people are tired of the ads, and you're the person that is selling the product to them. So think about how you would want to be sold to. You're not gonna want somebody that's like, oh, buy this for $5 for $50, $5 for $50. Get it now. Like, yes, that's cool and all, but like, it's getting old. People want to see art. People want to see things that are interesting. People want to see love. That's the big thing right now. Putting love into your work and putting healing into your work. Not being like one of those crazy healers, because sometimes they go a little too far, but just being a kind, like, good person, and like laughing, and something that's relatable, and not trying to be perfect all the time. Like, I didn't make my bed today. That's not gonna happen every day. Sorry. I'm trying to decolonize and not hold myself to that standard anymore, but I'm holding myself to a new standard, and that's being morally, ethically correct as I can be while still surviving. Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, like, even though I have made a decent amount of money being an influencer, there has been times where I had $5 and I had a photo shoot the next day and I needed props. And that's when you get really creative. And that's why I'm happy that I didn't always grow up with money, because it taught me how to be creative and create things out of nothing. And that's sometimes what an influencer is you're literally creating things out of nothing. And so if you have any other comments, I would love to hear about it. I could maybe do like a part 2 for influencing if I think of anything else. Sending invoices is a great thing too. That keeps everybody on track. That keeps you on track. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are below. And I love doing this video. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. I'll probably do something more about it if anybody else wants to learn any more. But I just wanted to share what I kind of went through, and then also what people and companies are expecting as an influencer.